Hey, what's up guys? Alex here with a new video, and I'm finally doing a video on the Viltrox 75mm f1.2 lens for the Fuji X-Mount. If you're new to the channel, I am a portrait photographer and I have been blown away by Viltrox's line of lenses the past year and a half. I pretty much reviewed all their lenses except the 75 1.2, and I finally have my hands on it. I do have to state, Viltrox did send me this lens to review, but they did not pay me, and they are not watching this video, or did they ask me to say anything in this review. With that being said, this is a first impressions video, which means this is not a review. I haven't had this lens long enough to have a full review. I've had it for about 2 weeks, and I've only shot a few things with it, so first impressions. I will be providing image samples for you to download and check out so you can see the image quality of this lens in the link down below. And with that being said, let's kick things off. So this lens is a 75mm f1.2 lens for a crop sensor, which means if you use the math, you're essentially getting a 112, 113mm full frame equivalent with this lens. And this is kind of a perfect focal length for Fuji X-Mount because it's a unique focal length. What I mean by that is Fuji currently offers a 56mm f1.2 and a 90mm f2, so this lens kind of slots in right in the middle. This is part of Fuji's Pro line of lenses, which means it's one of their premium lenses. So when you say premium lens, you're getting an all-metal build, you're getting a aperture ring, manual focus, autofocus switch, weather sealing, and this lens is built like a tank. It feels like a premium lens. It feels more expensive than it is because this lens retails for $549, which I think, to be honest, is a bargain. More on that in a second. The only con in build quality or this lens, actually it's not even build quality con, is its size. So it being a 1.2 lens means it's a larger lens. As a matter of fact, this lens kind of fits in with a full frame camera. It's a full frame size lens for APS-C, but you can't change physics, and in order to have 1.2, you have to have more glass, so you have a hefty lens. It's also not the lightest lens, and paired with a smaller Fuji camera, it might not be the most comfortable experience. I think if you own an XH2, XH2S, or an XS body, it will be solid, but if you own any of the other bodies, the XT5, X Pro 3, or the smaller bodies, it's gonna be very kind of off balance because the weight's gonna be all in the front. So if you have a grip, it's gonna help. If not, you're gonna have to kind of suffer a little to kind of get the benefits of an f1.2 lens. As a matter of fact, just holding it right now, it's getting quite heavy, so I'm gonna put it to the side and talk about image quality. So like I mentioned, this is a first impressions video, so I haven't had this lens long enough to do a full-blown review. I did take this lens out to do some street photography, and I also went to visit one of my friends at church. He's one of the worship pastors there, and decided to kind of do some concert style photography with this lens to see how it would perform. I do have to state, I am not a fan of longer focal lengths. So if you're familiar with my channel, usually my favorite focal length is 50mm. If I'm feeling a little crazy, a little experimental, I'll shoot with 85mm, but even then that's a little too tight for my needs. I like being close to my subject. I like interacting with my subject, and I find 50mm is kind of like the perfect focal length. This being a 112mm equivalent in full frame terms, it means it's way longer than I'm comfortable with, and it's just not something I'm really usually into. So I decided to do some street portraits first and kind of just check it out, see what kind of results I would get. And let me tell you, I was blown away. The quality out of this lens, and again, I should have just expected it because I've been a fan of all Viltrox lenses, but the quality of this lens is just incredible. The sharpness is tack sharp at 1.2. The bokeh and rendering you're getting out of this lens, it feels like you're shooting full frame on an APS-C body. I just love that magical creamy background and compression you get. And again, that 1.2 look is just dreamy and unique, and I am here for it. And I know this usually isn't a street photography focal length. To be honest, it's been extremely ugly here where I'm at, so I've actually had a few photo sessions push because of the weather. I think I will be testing this out for my review with more family sessions, more portrait style scenarios, but I wanted to get my first impressions out there. During the church event, kind of photographing concert style photography, the lens also did really well. Again, you're getting that compression, you're getting that focal length. 1.2 magic means lower ISO. overall image quality, I think this lens is an absolute winner. The only area where it's not even the lens's fault, but I will say this, at the time of testing these first impressions, I was using the X-T5 with now older firmware. Fuji just released a firmware upgrade yesterday or 2 days ago to improve its autofocus performance. And I haven't tested it with a new firmware, but let me tell you, it is needed. So the X-T5, and I know it's not this lens specifically because with the X-T5, when I've shot it with the 56 1.2, even the 35 1.4, the autofocus has just been a little erratic. It's hit and miss, it's a little frustrating, and it's just not the best autofocusing system. But there's a new firmware upgrade. So for my full review of this lens, I will definitely be testing it out with the new Fuji firmware. But I will say the fact that it's a 1.2 lens and the X-T5 is a little finicky on its own means you're gonna have some shots that are out of focus. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of curious to see how this lens performs on the Sony E-mount because I have a feeling with this optical quality and with Sony's autofocus system, the results will be stunning. Now, the results are stunning with Fuji when the autofocus hits. It's just you're gonna get a lot more misses with the Fuji system than you are with Sony, and hopefully this firmware upgrade changes everything and improves it. But I wanted to make sure I pointed that out in these first impressions. So, what do you guys think? I personally think that Viltrox is just absolutely killing it because they're releasing these types of lenses with this kind of crazy quality, big, bright apertures at affordable price points. So you have this lens which essentially gives you full frame quality, and I've compared the 27 1.2 with a G Master 35 1.4, and the results were almost identical, but at a third of the price. So you're getting these crazy results at a third of the price on an APS-C body. So what Viltrox is doing is really impressive with their Pro line of lenses. And I think this paired with a 27 1.2 will really create a badass kit for your Fuji X-Mount camera or Sony E-mount APS-C camera. Like I said though, I'm providing the images for you to download so you can check them out, you can play with them, and you can see for yourself the quality to expect with the Viltrox 75 1.2. As always guys, thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please smash the like button. Please subscribe, it really helps, and I will see you on the next one. Have a good one guys. Peace.